Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. All uniform is on sales right now, which is the 40% discount on all the uniforms. I believe most of the players have been saving crystal to purchase the uniform that they like, but there is a lot of uniform available and half of them are basically a double skip. It means that they are kind of like obsolete or it's just not useful at all. So it's very important to identify which are the must-buy uniforms to avoid wasting crystal on unnecessary uniforms. So today I will talk about which are the must-buy uniforms. Okay, before we get into it, there are a few advices that I would like to mention. First of all, if you have a character that is at tier 3, you should probably buy their uniform no matter what. Because you have invested a lot of time and resources like CCF, Titan Component Pack, Black Antimatter, Non-Storm of Chaos, and some other resources just to get a character to tier 3. So it is important to have the tier 3 character at their best level or the most powerful position when you tier 3 them. That's how you get the full value of that tier 3 character in return. Because most of the tier 3 characters need their latest uniform in order to be that good. A tier 3 character without a uniform is just equal to a tier 2 character that has a uniform, or maybe worse than that. Secondly, don't buy a uniform if you are going to just let the character remains at tier 1, because there's no tier 1 characters that can perform well in any kind of game mode except for low level of Shadowland. So it's worthless to have a uniform for tier 1 character. Besides that, you should consider if that particular uniform actually provides the useful support ability which their base kit can't. Like for example, Taskmaster Maoist Black Widow uniform. This uniform actually provides the uniform bonus, which is the increased damage to superhero and supervillain characters by 40%, which is very useful as a support in both PvE and PvP game mode. Other than that, you should consider if that particular uniform actually provides you a certain return of useful resources like comic cards, any kind of CTP or a CTP selected. Like for example, let me show you. Okay, this Giant Man Ultron Pim uniform. If you purchase Giant Man uniform and if you purchase this Ant-Man legendary battle, okay, let me show you. Okay, if you purchase Giant Man Ultron Pim uniform and if you purchase this Ant-Man and the Wasp legendary battle which costs around 2500 crystal, you will be able to get a CTP selected in which you have the opportunity to get a CTP of Rage, which is the most powerful CTP in the game right now. So it's somewhere around here. Okay, so here you go. But the required mission is that you have to upgrade his uniform to heroic level, which is not difficult, but you should only purchase this Giant Man Ultron Pim uniform at 40% discount sales event. Okay, so I will just go through all the tier 3 characters to determine whether their uniform is worth to have it or it's just not necessary. Because I think nowadays those tier 3 characters are the dominator of the game, no matter in PvE game mode or PvP game mode. And there is only few tier 2 characters are good to have their uniform. So I will also cover which is the must-buy uniform for tier 2 characters, and I will also cover which is the must-buy uniform that can give you certain valuable resources in return. Okay, so my concept of must-buy uniform, there is two criteria. First is that uniform makes the character become very powerful in certain game mode. Second is that uniform change a character from lousy tier to god tier. Like for example, if a character is useless with his previous uniform or with his base kit, but with his latest uniform, he is performing very well in certain game mode like or the PvE game mode or PvP game mode. So that's kind of my concept. Okay, without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, number one, we have Quicksilver. Yes, this uncanny Avengers uniform is a must-buy uniform for Quicksilver. He is a god tier in both PvE and PvP with this uniform. Whereas the Marvel Legacy uniform, you can just skip. Then we have Thanos. Again, this is a must-buy uniform. He's extremely powerful, especially in PvP, and he can do quite well in PvE as well with this uniform. And basically, the rest you can just skip. Then we have Apocalypse. This is this is his only uniform, and it is the most powerful uniform as well. He's basically doing very well in both PvE and PvP game mode with this uniform, so this is a must-buy uniform. Then we have Jean Grey. So this is a bit different because Jean Grey basically has two uniforms, which is X-Men red uniform and this Marvel girl uniform, and both of the uniform are good. If you already purchase her X-Men red uniform, you can basically just skip this Marvel girl uniform if you don't have enough crystals for many uniforms, because there's no points to have two good uniforms for a character, because when you use her you can only use one of her uniform. And the other point is there is not much difference between these two uniforms in terms of damage and survivability. The only difference is her Marvel Girl uniform actually transforms her into a universal type, which gives you the flexibility in Shadowland, and it also makes her a bit stronger in PvP game mode, because the other characters just can't take any advantage of the class type like speed versus blast. And of course, if you haven't uh, purchased any of her uniform, then you should go with her Marvel Girl uniform, which is the latest uniform, and that's for sure. Then we have Doctor Strange. Yes, this is a must-buy uniform. Moving on, we have Deadpool. This holiday party uniform is a must-buy uniform, and the rest you can just skip. Then we have Nemo. This Phoenix 5 uniform is a must-buy uniform. He's a monster in PvE with this Phoenix 5 uniform. Then we have Cyclops. Honestly, I think it's not necessary to have this uniform because it's not really good if you compare with other Blast characters with their latest uniform like Magneto. You can use Magneto in Extreme Alliance better, so why would you use Cyclops if you can use Magneto? But if you love to use Cyclops, that is okay to have him. With this uniform, he can do quite decent in PvE game mode, but it's not necessary. Moving on, we have Magneto. This House of X uniform is a must-buy uniform, whereas this Marvel Now uniform is basically a double skip. You should focus on his House of X uniform, which transforms him into a real powerful Magneto. And yes, this House of X uniform is a must-buy uniform for Magneto. Then we have Captain America. Same case as Jean Grey, Captain America also has two uniform, which is very good, which is an Avengers Endgame uniform and this Hydra Supreme uniform. Again, if you already purchased his in-game uniform, you can basically skip this Hydra Supreme uniform. Both are good. Hydra Supreme uniform is a little bit better than in-game uniform, but not necessary to have it. I know that this Hydra Supreme uniform actually transform Cap into a Blast supervillain, which is very useful in Extreme Alliance battle. Again, if you already have Magneto, which can do better than Cap in Extreme Alliance battle, then why would you purchase this Hydra Supreme uniform? The other point is that there are many god tier 3 characters like Doctor Strange, Cheryl Rogers, Professor X, so why would you want to use him as a Blast character? In my opinion, it is better to keep him as a combat character with his in-game uniform, because as you know, there is not many good combat tier 3 characters. So you can just buy either one of his in-game uniform. They are the same in-game uniform but different in outlook. If you purchase both, You just get the extra synergy bonus. That's it. Moving on, we have Cheryl Rogers. No question, this Star Knight armor uniform is a must-buy uniform. She is a PvE killer with this uniform, and the rest you can just skip. Then we have Iron Man. Same as Cyclops, it's not necessary to have this uniform because his damage is just not good enough compared to other tier 3 character, but this is definitely his best uniform. Then we have Black Widow. She has a lot of uniforms in the past, but basically all are just lousy. This Maoist Black Widow uniform makes her stronger in PvE, and this is a must-buy uniform. Then we have Luna Snow. She's a god tier in all the PvE game mode with this Lifestyle Series 1 uniform, so this is a must-buy uniform, and the rest you can just skip. Next is Spider-Man. It's not necessary to have this uniform because he's just not good enough compared to other speed class characters. And yes, Spider-Man Far From Home uniform is the best uniform for him, but compared to others, it's just not good enough. And the rest is basically a double skip. The only useful for Spider-Man is this Spider-Man Far From Home uniform, and this Spider-Man Far From Home stealth suit uniform, kind of like black color, black in outlook. That's the difference. Basically, both are the same. The only difference is, if you purchase both of them, they will give you the extra synergy bonus. That's it. Then we have Captain Marvel. This is a must-buy uniform. The rest we can just skip. Then we have Thor. Again, it's not necessary to have this uniform because it's just not good enough, but this is definitely his best uniform. So if you like to use Thor, just go ahead with it. On the other hand, this Marvel's Thor Ragnarok uniform, although it is not good, but if you purchase it and if you upgrade his uniform, this Marvel's Thor Ragnarok uniform to heroic level, you will get a Loki number 2. I think it's Loki number 2 comics card, which is one of the best premium card for new players. If your cards are already strong enough, then you can basically just skip this. Then we have Scarlet Witch. Yes, this Scarlet Witch all new, all different uniform is a must-buy uniform. And this Uncanny Avenger you can just skip, and the rest, yes, you can just skip. Just pick up her latest uniform. This is a must-buy uniform. Next is Wolfram. If you are looking for a PvP character, then you can consider this House of X uniform for Wolfram. But this uniform is not necessary to purchase. While the others uniform are just so. So this is not a necessary uniform that you must have, unless you are looking for a PvP above average character. Okay, Professor X, he doesn't have his uniform. He's good with his Kit. Then we have the King of Wakanda, Black Panther. Basically, all of his uniform are just a double triple skip. Nothing much to talk about this character. So yeah, this is not necessary to have it. Then we have Crescent. If possible, just skip. She's not good enough even with her new uniform compared to other characters. Ant-Man, same as Crescent, if possible, just skip. Then we have Winter Soldier's Infinity War uniform. This uniform used to be very good, but now it's kind of like obsolete. If you're not planning to tier 3 him, you can just skip this uniform. Just wait for his new uniform if he gets an update in the future. And the rest is just a triple skip. Then we have Mr. Fantastic. This Future Foundation uniform is a must-buy uniform. He's good in PvE with this uniform. Okay, so I think that's all about tier 3 characters with their uniform. Okay, so now let's talk about which uniform is a must-buy uniform for tier 2 characters. Okay, number one is Cable. Cable with this uniform is insane even at tier 2. He can do quite well in PvE game mode. So this Cables and Deadpool uniform for Cable is a must-buy uniform. Then next we have Colossus. Have you ever wondered why there is many top teams in Timeline Battle that has Colossus as a team up with Thanos and Jingray? It is because this uniform Phoenix 5 uniform which actually give you the decreased damage received from superhero and supervillain characters by 50%. So if you are looking for a PvP God tier support, this is a must buy uniform. You can only have this great support ability if you own his Phoenix 5 uniform, while the other uniform are basically a double skip. Then we have Taskmaster. Taskmaster with his Marvel's Black Widow uniform, as mentioned earlier, he is very good as a support because this uniform give you the uniform bonus which is increased damage due to superhero and supervillain by 40%, which is very useful as a support for both PvE and PvP game mode. On the other hand, it also gives you the opportunity to get a CDP of Insight from Black Widow's Legendary Battle. If you purchase the Black Widow's Legendary Battle, which costs around 2500 crystal, and if you rank up his uniform to Heroic, you will get a CDP of Insight in return. So this is a must-buy uniform. Okay, moving on, I will talk about those must-buy uniform that give you valuable resources in return. Okay, this Giant Man Ultron Pim uniform is a must-buy uniform because it gives you a CTP of selected if you purchase the Ant-Man and the Wasp's Legendary Battle and if you rank up his uniform to Heroic level. So this is a must-buy uniform if you are looking for a CTP of selected which can give you the opportunity to select a CTP that you like. But of course, if you're not planning to buy the Ant-Man and the Wasp's Legendary Battle, which means you can't get the CTP of selected, that's for sure, then you can just skip this uniform. This is a lousy uniform as well. The only valuable thing is it gives you a CTP of selected if you purchase this uniform and if you purchase the Ant-Man and the Wasp's Legendary Battle. Then we have Hela Marvel's Thor Ragnarok uniform. If you purchase this uniform, you can basically get a CDP of energy for free, which is nice, right? Yes, because the Thor's Ragnarok Legendary Battle is available for free, which means that you don't have to use crystal to buy that Legendary Battle. The only thing is that you just have to buy Hela uniform and upgrade it to Heroic level. I think no matter what, you should buy her uniform to get that free CTP of energy. And then we have Killmonger, Marvel's Black Panther uniform. If you purchase his uniform and buy the Black Panther Legendary Battle and upgrade his uniform to Heroic level, it will give you a CTP of energy in return. But for this Black Panther Legendary Battle is not a free stuff, you have to use crystal to purchase it. So it is way too costly compared to Hela. And that's why I would suggest you should buy Hela uniform just to get that free CTP of energy. The last one is Loki Marvel's Thor Ragnarok uniform. If you purchase his uniform, you will get a free Loki premium comic card from the Thor's Ragnarok legendary battle. But the card states of this Loki card is not that good. But if you don't have any good card, you can definitely consider this Loki uniform just to get a free premium card from the Thor Ragnarok legendary battle. Okay, so that's all for my must buy list. If I have missed out some of the must buy uniform, feel free to share in the comment box below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and thank you for watching.